Okay, well here's the 5 bearings that we took out. The one has a cut because we were checking out some stuff we could do with it. And each of these still have the Chrysler stamp on them, so they're probably the original bearings. And they're numbered from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have different numbers of holes on them. They need to go into the right positions. The new ones in the box are numbered 1 through 5. And I'll show you that in the box right before I put them in. Okay, well the cylinders have transmission fluid in them to protect them against the rust. The main cylinders. The lifter cylinders have WD-40 in them. Ready to start with the camshaft. We'll start with 5 and go up to 1, and the box is marked. Get my head out of here. The box is marked 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so I put the box so it's aligned with the way they're supposed to go in. One other thing I've done is I've marked a little scribe mark where the oil hole is on each one. Now there's 2 holes, so don't get confused, because the other hole only goes up to the bolt here. So you want to align your oil hole in the bearing with the one in the bottom. Now these bearings show multiple oil holes, and only one of them is going to do anything. And the only one that doesn't do that is the last bearing, number 5, and the first bearing. They only have 1 hole. Okay, so the way this works, first of all, this is a thicker backing sleeve. There's 2 sizes. Then there's this, which looks like it's for putting a bearing on, but it's actually the expander that the other sleeves go underneath. It expands, and then it expands them. And that's why you need this thicker backing, because so it presses properly against this. And you just take your bearing, slide it on over, and tighten this until it holds it securely. Now for this, these are thin walls, so it's a brown. You see there's only a little, it makes this flange a little bit less than the bearing. Oh, and while the one end is held in place by the bearing holder tool that holds the bearing, the other end has a sliding taper that goes in here, and that keeps the rod, no matter where it is in the block, level and straight. Probably worth mentioning too, the way you do this is you actually put the camshaft presser on, slide it through, and then you put the bearing in on the last second right before it goes in. Otherwise they won't clear the previous ones, or the ones ahead of it. Okay, then when you tighten up the nut on the end, and it expands and snugs on the bearing won't spin. And as you can see, what I have now is I have my bearing hole lined up with the magic marker hole. I do that to line it up with it being upside down on the engine stand. Makes it easier. Then after I've tapped the bearing in a fair amount, most of the way, if not, not all the way, but fairly far, then I turn the engine stand over. So now I can look down into the bearings and make sure that they're all the way in. And if not, then I just take another little tap, back out the tool, check, take another little tap, back out the tool, check, until I get them centered properly.